It's the concept of just get it. Girls say, I shouldn't have to tell him.
More about that.
He should just know. You guys want to know the number one thing? You go to a marriage counselor, you know when the marriage is about to end, when she starts saying shit like this. I shouldn't have to tell him. He should just know. I got news for you guys. The world out there, there's some guys who get it and some guys who don't. And you know what I'm talking about. You've been out to a club. You've been out to places. You've seen the guy who's just smoother than you. He's a better salesperson than you. He's just better at communicating than you. He's better with women than you. You can tell this guy gets it and you don't get it. Okay. And now you're looking around in the world. You're looking at Disney and big tech, and you're looking at the media and pop psychology. And you're like, maybe someone here will teach me to get it. But no, why would they? Beautiful women don't want average men to learn how to have sex with them. Of course, no one's going to teach you to get it. My job is to teach you to get it, because this world you have been shamed for trying to learn to get it.
Right.
Again, I'm not going to define what it is. What I'm going to tell you is you see it, you know it when you see it. The guy who's just flawless and effortless when he talks to the opposite sex, or when he talks to somebody who's high status, he gets it. You don't. Someone needs to teach you, and there's no course, there's no book that teaches you to get it. You either learn it through trial and error, or you go to MOAmentoring.com. That's the way you do
Mike,
it.
here's something I want you to expand upon there. So when you say that, like, just get it, or like he's just smoother, he's just more confident, I know this is going to happen because the pickup guys are going to come first and say, oh, what he's saying is you need to learn. Being get it means learning pickup, learning intent. He's really saying, hey, you need to learn all the pickup stuff. And that's what he's saying, but he doesn't want to say it. Explain that difference, because that always happens all the time. What's the difference between what you said and getting it versus like pickup and like game?
Game is fine. I never have a problem with game. What I do is social circle game. Game is great. Cold approach is fine. Cold approach is great. Talking to strangers is a skill set that you need to have in sales, leadership.
Let's clip that one. Let's clip that one. Cold approach is great.
Cold approach is great. And by the way, a lot of pickup is good too for beginners. What I have a problem with is the highly sexualized, hyper kino escalation, the hypersexualized, hyper intent type of cold approach pickup. That's what I have an issue with, because here's what's happened. Ready? I'm about to blow some people's minds. Those of you who picked up has failed for you, you're going to know what I'm saying is true, but maybe I'm the first person who's ever said this to you. When you show hyper amounts of intent to a woman in a venue, what's happening is you're actually selecting for women who accept that type of physical attention, right? And because of that, because you're selecting for that, what's called in psychology, the sociosexual women, when you select for that, you're far more likely to have sex because you're selecting for a type of woman that's more down to have sex. And you're confusing it for game. You're born on third and think you hit a triple. What happened was, instead of she had sex with you in spite of the fact that you were super touchy, picked her up, spun her around, started barking at her, whatever the pickup. You think that being hypersexual and escalating on her in a public venue is what made her turned on. What you don't realize is that that girl was going to fuck someone anyway, and it just happened to be you. And your hyper aggressiveness only selected for that few 2 to 3% of women that were down for that. So congratulations, you got a girl with a 600 body count. You got to go home with it. You can go brag to your friends about how good your game is.
Right.
Those of you who have been failed by pickup, deep down, you know what I'm saying is true.
Right.
What you can do is almost like, instead of being born on third and thinking you hit a triple, you can manufacture runs. You know, like you do in baseball, you hit a bunt, sack fly, whatever. You can manufacture attraction. The freebie for manufacturing attraction is called pre-selection. Mate choice copying, sexy son's hypothesis. That's the freebie. Anyone can do that. The other ones you could do is break rapport, treat them all the same, make them talk about themselves. There's other techniques that you can use. Again, if-then statements, very easy, logical if-then statements. You can create these huge social situations. That's such an unhealthy way to look at the world, right? To just look at the world and be like, well, I could work on game or just make more money and then just pay them for sex. The problem is it's so hard to come back from that. Guys, how do you develop game when you do this? I've talked about this before. I've had 2 clients. One of them, he paid a girl $1,500 for sex one time, and then he fucked her twice, and he thought that he had game. He was like, I negotiated with this prostitute. It was the craziest shit I ever heard in my life. Bro, it was the crazy. I was like, bro, are you kidding me?
That's
you negotiated with a hooker?
Yo, you got a discount?
Bro, you want to know the funny part is? I knew the girl. I didn't know she was a hooker. And he told me, I was like, what the f? I messaged her, made fun of her. Damn, he ripped you off. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, how much of a discount? That's what really matters.
It's just crazy. Guys, one more time, guys. If you pay women for sex, I'm not here to judge you, but don't tell me you have game. That's all I'm saying. Don't tell me you have game. Don't teach me don't sell me a program on how you're good with women when you are paying women to have sex with you.
Right.
And one of the things that, again, drives these guys, TikTok haters, YouTube haters, and guys in the pickup community crazy is what? What is the first thing they say when they see my social media? What is the first thing they say?
paid them.
That I paid them. But let me look at the camera right now. I will put up $50,000 if you can find one single girl I've ever paid to come to my event, to be in a photo with me, or anything past that. One. And guess what, motherfucker? They're all tagged in my social media. And the thing is, these ass motherfuckers who say this, as soon as I say that, they just stop talking. Because here's the thing. If what I'm saying is true and all these girls want to hang out with me and I'm not paying them, that means everything I learned was wrong.
That means I'm a bitch.
Can you imagine like having an entire reality based on this idea that women are only interested in money, and then there's a guy who comes along and completely crushes your belief system? Imagine if you were able to prove to someone, some religious person, that their God wasn't real. Do you think they'd congratulate you for it? No, they'd pull out a gun or a knife and they'd kill you. How dare you besmirch my God? Whenever I show them, like, I'm able to do this with insanely beautiful women and not pay any of them, I have besmirched their God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, like just from doing a lot of these calls, that what's even worse than the prostitute thing, look, at least that's a transaction. It's when I see a lot of guys, and you've had a lot of these calls, where it's like they're on seeking arrangements, they're on the sugar daddy websites, and they think the girl likes them, or they think they just want them for their success. They think there's genuine desire, and we all know there's not.
By the way, again, guys, if you want a hybrid of it, I know some guys that are like, they're picking between all of their sugar babies for the one who actually likes them the most. And I do know sugar babies who have legit fallen in love with their sugar daddies. I have legit 100% seen that. And when the sugar daddy leaves, they're heartbroken. They're crying to me about it. Like, it was a legit emotional reaction beyond money. It really was. I've seen that happen before. But if you want some kind of hybrid thing, that's fine. If you just want it to be transactional, that's a problem. But if you don't want it to be transactional, if you want a woman, like Rolo says, to crawl over broken glass and change her religion for you, if you want to learn how to get genuine desire, call us up, because that's what we teach. That is the thing you want to do, but you have to be worth genuine desire.
Well, the dynamic that sets up in the back of the girl's head is like, she's always in the back of her head gonna think, he couldn't have got me without the money.
Yeah.
He had to use the money to get me.
And also, how can you ever know if she really genuinely desires you? It's always gonna be in the back of your head.
It's always gonna be in the back of your head,
and it's in the back of her head. It's just like if a woman cheats on you and you take her back, there's a voice in her head who's like, I'm with the beta male who took the cheater back. Even though she's like, please take me back. As soon as you take her back and there's another fight, she's like, I'm with the beta male who took the cheater back.
Right.
And when she knows the other foot's going to drop and you might break up with her, what does she do? She's going to go with monkey branch to the next dude. So not only did she cheat on you, she's going to leave you again because you didn't maintain any kind of boundaries.
Right.
That's what happened. And you didn't maintain, and that's what I consider prostitution. Prostitution is a lack of boundaries. That's what that is. And by the way, Dan said this, Bilzerian said this. He goes, I wish I could pay prostitutes because my life would be easier. But it's like, I am only interested in women who really, really want to have sex with me. And I got to say, Dan, I got the same disease you do, bro. I want the same thing. I couldn't imagine fucking a girl who wasn't attracted to me. I couldn't even fucking imagine how like gross and empty I would feel after that. I just can't even fathom that. There's some guys right here. It's like, I can't even fathom the other way, right? Well, there's people out there to teach you. By the way, you're showing intent to a woman who did nothing to deserve it. Meaning your intent is valueless. You showing intent is worthless.
And now you have no status.
You have no status. Again, for me, it's like I'll go meet a beautiful woman and I'll be like, hey, awesome show you did. Or like, really great. Oh, I saw you bought your first house. Congratulations. And I'll never look at her boobs. And she'll look at me and be like, wow, he gave me no intent. I have to work to get Michael's intent. That means Michael's intent is worth more. Your intent is worth less.
Right.
Worth less because you're giving it to strangers just for their physical appearance. That's the reason why. And you're like, well, you go to a bar where there's a bunch of women looking to hook up and they get drunk and then you take one home and have sex with them and think you have game. No, you just, it would be like if there was some way to select for just like there was a bar and the only women that were allowed to come into the bar were women who were just DTF that night, no excuses. No, you know what I'm saying? If they had a bar like that, everybody's like, oh, that sounds like a great idea for a bar. but if there was a bar like that and you could just go there, you would just get laid and you wouldn't have any game. Well, that's essentially what the Kino escalation does. It's just speeding up the process. The problem is
it's like throwing a screen pass on the one and saying you have a good arm.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's not.
But it's one of these situations where it's like
a screen pass on the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's 28-3. That's how they won the, remember? That's how they won the whole thing. Is a screen pass at the one. That concept of like you showing that level of intent. What happens is during all those approaches, there were so many other women that you could have manufactured attraction with and you didn't because you blew it out because of intent. I knew this for a long time. Do you know who reiterated this to me? Dan.
Bilzerian.
Dan was the main person who reiterated this to me. Don't hit on them. You remember that scene in the movie where he's supposed to hit on Cameron Diaz?
Yeah.
And he's like, and the guy who was directing the movie was like, you know, I just figured since you're so good with women that you would know how to go up and like a cold approach her. And he's like, I don't cold approach women. I just build incredible amounts of social pressure so these women are attracted to me. Doesn't that sound better? Doesn't that sound more fun?
Yeah. So Mike, elaborate on that, because some guys are going to think like it's all in extremes, right? So they think, okay, I'm not going to, I no intent, right? Okay, I'm just going to sit in the corner. I'm not going to talk to any of them. I'm going to wait for them to come to me. Elaborate on the difference between that.
Yeah. So
a lot of guys say that as well.
I'm still super gregarious. I'm still a little bit ostentatious. I'm still extroverted. I'm still approaching.
Right.
But I'm not like, damn, girl, you're fine. There's none of that in me. What is like, what up, ho? Like you see me go up to my guy friends. I go up to Rolo. What up, homie? And then I go up to my female friends. What up, homie? We're a team working together. You guys see the bikini model, the bikini competitions where I got all the girls put their hands in the middle. I turn into Ray Lewis for a couple minutes, just like screaming. Not the Ray Lewis, the murder charges, but you know, like Ray Lewis, the defensive captain, right? I put my hand in the middle and we just like ready, break with all the girls, and they get hyped up. Those girls, a lot of the times they're sitting there like they're receiving beta intent from beta males all over the place. And there's this one alpha who's sitting there talking loud and hasn't looked at my boobs once. Yeah. He had hit on me one fucking time. And look at all these other girls around here. Girls look around each other. Man, I wonder which one he's. They'll just start seeing that. And then all of a sudden that fucking pre-selection pang, that evolutionary pang that their ancestors from 50,000, 100,000, 200,000 years ago started feeling. They start having that. It's like, this is a desirable fucking man. He must be. This many women around, he hasn't even looked at me once. Right. What the fuck is going on? I'm going to get his attention. I'll do anything I got to do to get this motherfucker pay attention to me. That's what they start thinking. I'll go start grinding on my butt on him, or I'll ask him out, or I'll flirt with him, or whatever. And you start seeing it happen when you create these situations with a ratio. Dan, I think, likes to talk about 7-to-1. I think 3-to-1 is good. 3 girls to every guy in like an event. I think that's a great way to create that ratio. But like Dan, he articulates it so, but that's why it was so great. The reason why I was so happy when The Rational Male came out is because I knew a lot of those things, but I couldn't write a book on it. And Rolo really put those things into perspective. There is no such thing as a soulmate. Long distance relationships aren't real things, like things like that. Rolo put it into that way, into a book. He articulated it better than I could. Dan articulated social circle game, the fame brain, that kind of stuff, pre-selection better than I could in his book, which is why that book is required reading for my clients. That's the thing that you understand. I want people to earn my respect and earn my admiration, but also earn my intent and earn my attention.
Right.
In order for them to do that, like when I do that, then I'm higher status because they're qualifying to me.